This is Nothing Coherent. I'm Zach.
I'm Brandon.
I was going to say, am I joined by anybody today?
And I'm Ryan, but Brandon and I are leaving because there's an ice cream man.
Yeah, the ice cream man's outside. This ice cream man drives around in a van, and it just says ice cream on it.
It's awesome.
So I'm very concerned on what his motivations are.
To make a lot of money.
Well, Brandon and I are going to find out those motivations.
And I'm going to sit here. I'm going to sit here in this padded white cell and just talk to myself for an hour. So, anyway.
Yeah. So let's talk about what
we've been doing, what we've been watching.
One of our big topics will be El Camino. Ryan is freaking out over there. One of our big topics will be El Camino. What are you doing?
Huh? What?
Are you making sign language?
Ryan, I can't. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
I'm confused.
Okay. First thoughts on Doolittle.
Oh, the Doolittle trailer?
Just came out today, a few hours ago.
I hope that it's good. It's very different than the Eddie Murphy version, which a lot of people seem to be upset about.
I think it's bad.
Well, I mean, we'll see when it comes out.
I mean, let me rephrase that. I think the Eddie Murphy versions are bad.
Oh, okay.
I think they are not good movies, but we are blinded by nostalgia because you grew up watching them.
That's fair.
When was the last time you watched Dr. Dolittle with Eddie Murphy?
Like 15, 20 years ago.
I was probably 6 or 7.
Yeah. As a kid, it's like, oh, talking animals! And Eddie Murphy, he's so funny. That's Donkey. And so you're like...
Donkey.
Wow, that's a little harsh, man.
So yeah, I remember... This will be interesting because the Sherlock Holmes thing...
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
there's a Sherlock Holmes
vibes.
Yeah, he's talking just like Sherlock Holmes, and so, or at least I noticed a few lines in that, and instantly I'm like,
Sherlock Holmes? His is a British accent for it, which is, I mean, it's fine. It's
just weird.
Visually, I think it looks great.
Yeah. But do you think the reason why they had him go with that a little bit stronger is because with Iron Man and everything such associated with him right now, they're trying to get that a little bit
I would say
apart?
here's my... I think Dr. Doolittle is based on something.
I'm 99% sure that's...
There's a book.
So I think this is more accurate to the book.
Yeah, I'm gonna look that up because I think there's a book.
I thought there was a book or like a TV series.
There's a movie from like 1967 or 68, I think.
I mean, here's the thing. Robert Downey looks fine in it. Same thing with like The Judge. I thought he was fine in that.
Yeah.
Anything like okay. Downey looks fine. Like I'm excited to see him in this.
Correct.
The movie comes out in January though, which for anyone who's like historically understands that, January is like a dumping ground for movies for companies to get tax breaks.
You just release this to...
Yeah, you like film this movie. If you want to get the tax break before April, you have to release your movie in January. That's like the last month you can do it, I think. And so they always do this. And most of them are bad.
So there was a book back in 1920, and I want you guys to look at the cover. Unfortunately, you guys can't see it, but it looks very, very creepy.
Huh.
And
looks like a cave drawing.
Yeah, it does.
Maybe that's what it's all about. He's colonizing a new land with animals.
Story of Dr. Doolittle by Hugh Lofting.
Anyway, yeah, I think
it was written in the United States.
I think it looks good.
The 67 one is a musical.
Oh, wow.
Fantasy comedy music. Wait, that doesn't make sense. It's 2 hours and 30.
Okay, here's...
Do you think that
back to the British thing. Although the book's author was British, it was published in the U.S. So
do you think that Robert Downey Jr.'s version is going to be a musical with John Cena the polar bear?
No, but hold on.
That's sweet.
I would give anything for John Cena.
There was a third and fourth Dr. Doolittle movie with I think his daughter, but the fourth one is called Dr. Doolittle Tale to the Chief, where she goes and takes care of the president's dog.
Oh, yeah.
And also, if you search Dr. Doolittle, the other thing that comes up is My Fair Lady.
Interesting.
There's probably some connection with that or something.
But yeah, no, I would give anything for this new one to be a musical, and all the actors that are attached all have their own personal song. John Cena should rap again, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, 1920 it came out. Was during World War I. Was written in the trenches of World War I.
Really?
So, I bet the original book is a really dark analogy for something else, probably.
Animals team. He's got a huge team of animals. The inspiration. This is weird. There's a lot of stuff.
This Hugh guy probably had a weird, really, really weird dream, and this is how this story got made.
He was fighting in the trenches, and he was like, you know what would really inspire people? Is if they could talk to their dog.
There are 32 years, though, with 15 books of different Dr. Doolittle stories.
Yeah,
over 32 years.
Dr. Doolittle is a very popular character, so that doesn't really surprise me all that much.
The movie takes place in 1819, because that's when the first book takes place. So, yeah, you were not right.
I said 1800s.
Yeah, I thought it was.
But that was before we recorded, but Brandon witnessed it.
Yeah, Zach was saying like the 60s.
No, the movie came out in the 60s.
No, we said this this takes place, and you said it looks like it takes place in the 60s.
No, I said I think that it's going to be more based on like the movie from the 60s.
That's okay. Well, it took us long.
Well,
and unfortunately, we're recording.
We don't have that recorded down.
You know what? It's my word versus yours, and I think people are probably going to agree with me.
I doubt that. But anyway, so
Okay.
overall, it looks fine. I'm not going to count down the days for it.
It's going to be one of those kind of forgotten movies, though.
Yeah, I want to be wrong, and I want it to be like Split or something else that came out like in January. It was like, where I'm like, that was good. That was something that like surprised me, but it just doesn't look good.
But
I think,
I think the nostalgia for the movie might be able to carry a little bit, but I mean, since January is right after Christmas and everything, it's usually bad weather outside. No one wants to go.
Yeah, and that's like the last Oscar movie. Like Rush is like everything else that's going to be playing at the Oscars, like because we know all the nominations by then. So people are like, well, I got to start watching these movies now.
You feel like it's pretty late for them to announce anything with this movie?
What do you mean?
Like just because I didn't even know that they were even.
Yeah. Well, they did on Robert's Instagram a while ago. They posted like a cast because like Tom Holland and all of them were in it. And I was like, oh, so they're all voicing animals and stuff.
Yeah.
That's the thing though. I think the biggest thing that this has going for it, realistically, isn't the movie. It's everyone being like, I want to see what Downey does next.
Yeah.
Now that he's done with Iron Man, well, air quotations, done with Iron Man, done with being a main character playing
It'll be
Iron
like
Man
an
as
AI
a
or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if like there are flashbacks with Tony.
It has cameo.
Yeah, but not like leading a movie.
Yeah.
So I think that's what it's really got going for it is people being like, I want to see what Downey does next.
Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man 4 One Last Ride. It's just him flying off. It's just him flying in the Iron Man suit.
Better closer.
But yeah, so other trailers. Did you guys watch Onward?
I didn't know there was a new trailer for Onward.
I'm going to say it's bad because I haven't seen it.
We shared it on the Nothing Career page.
Oh, we did, huh?
It looks good. Pixar trailers.
Yes. I
Yeah, I
did
know
see
what it is.
No, I did.
Pixar trailers are
You
never
posted
great.
Yeah, Pixar trailers are always...
But I can
weird.
already tell that I'm going to cry.
Really?
Like, I can tell from the premise of the movie. Because it's about... So they wait... So the rule was their dad said when they turned 16, they would be given a gift that looks like a wizard's staff.
Yeah.
The older brother sees that there's a spell that can bring the dad back for a day.
Oh, no.
And so the spell only only works halfway, so it's only up to his legs. And, like, the rest of his torso isn't there, and so it's like a movie about them getting, like, the rest of their dad back for the day. And so they have 24 hours to, like, finish the spell, or else they never get to, like...
See him
again. And so...
Oh.
Well, I mean, yeah. I think it looks heartfelt, and I can tell I'm going to cry.
That's the one with Chris Pratt and Tom Holland.
Yeah, as the leads.
It's going to be a sad boy.
Yeah, I'm ready to laugh and cry.
Pixar is really good at hitting you right at your heartstrings, so...
Yeah. Also, Jungle Cruise. Nope.
Oh, with The Rock.
Yeah, and Emily Blunt.
And Emily Blunt. That doesn't look that good.
Yeah, I don't think so. But
you're just throwing the Rock around in like all sorts of...
No, hold on. So here's the trend. Rock is in any movie that has a jungle.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I saw a meme once, like a few months back, and it was like, this is The Rock in 3 different movies.
And it's all the same shirt.
It's like him in a white t-shirt, and I'm like, that one's Journey to the Center of the Earth, that one's Jumanji, that one's Rampage.
I haven't put a white
Dwayne
t-shirt
The Rock
on because
Johnson
it makes him
movies.
even look bigger. Though.
Yeah.
But it's like the same white shirt. It has dirt on the same spots. It's like he was filming one day, and he was like, oh, I need to go film on the other
just
set.
keep the shirt on, dude.
And they're like...
With how many movies he films at one time, it would not surprise me if he was on 2 different movie sets at the same time.
He just walked across the
lot
or whatever. And he's, okay.
He's just like, all right, what's my line?
Which one am I playing? The guy in the jungle. All right, I'm already in character. He's like, rampage, rampage, rampage. Okay, I'm ready for Jumanji.
Rock.
But I think his character, like, I enjoy...
His name affiliates with nature.
Yeah.
This
is The Rock.
It doesn't matter. I will go see just about any movie with The Rock in it because I'm his fan for life.
Yeah, we saw Skyscraper, and that one wasn't great.
Oh, dude, I loved that one scene, though, in Skyscraper. The movie's been out forever, so I'm going to talk about when he kills that guy with a sword.
Oh, yeah, the end, when there's, like, the gunfight. I couldn't tell you a single thing about the movie. When you're like, that scene, I was like...
I remembered, like, all the stuff with the mirrors, and then how, like, he, like, was hanging off the building with his fake leg. And I was like, oh, this is intense.
So, like, the whole trailer.
Yeah.
I mean, like...
It's Die Hard with an amputee.
Yeah.
Like,
but worse, because the villain sucks compared to Alan Rickman.
Oh, yeah. It's never Christmas until you see Hans Gruber fall off Nakatomi Plaza.
So quickly, is there anything you guys have been playing or watching you want to talk about? Before we get in, not El Camino.
No, not that. But you and I watched Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope last night.
Well, if we're doing this, I have, over the last week... watched 4 Star Wars movies because my fiance wants to watch them in order, not in the order I approve of, but in a order
1 through 6.
Yeah, of starting with Phantom Menace and then working our way through. And I am not.
I said you should have went machete order.
I wanted to do any other order, but this is what we're in.
4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 6.
But you said that she had watched.
She's seen them
kind of off and on, so I mean, this would at least help with the story.
Well, it does
kind of, but there are still questions that you can ask.
Everything's kind of organized.
But here's what we have to keep talking about. So, first, we'll do this in parts. So 1 and 2, watching them again, I clearly I hate 2. Like, oh my word,
2 is bad.
Cannot believe this movie exists. Like, I cannot believe that somebody at Lucasfilms back then did not tell George Lucas, hey, we should fix some things.
Okay, no one's gonna tell George Lucas no.
Somebody should have. I'm saying that's the
problem.
The problem was no one would.
In the original trilogy, George Lucas was surrounded by people who were like, you can't do this, you can't say that, this doesn't make sense. Whereas with the prequel trilogy, all the people working on that set were like, oh, we're doing Star Wars, it's such a big deal for me, I'm gonna get such a huge break.
Like, so I've been listening to stuff about, like, so like, what episode 5 and 6, where he started having more people around him, he did that because he wore himself thin, directing, doing everything for 4. Yeah. So at least with 5 and 6, he had another set of eyes where they could be like, hey, I don't think that's going to work as well, or let's try it this way.
But for the prequel trilogy, he had no.
Yeah, he was everyone was like, Star Wars is a household name, we'll do whatever. Which is, I think, the problem with the first 2, and since they were already that far, course correction couldn't have come to the third one, which it's clear that there's course correction in Revenge of the Sith.
Right.
Which makes it good. Like,
it's a good film.
I love Revenge of the Sith. But getting there, like, we watched Phantom Menace, and it's not as bad as I remember. It's still bottom 2. But, like, Attack of the Clones is, like, there's, like, a huge gap between 2 and 1 on, like, how bad I would say Attack of the Clones is.
Yeah, I don't like clones.
But leading into that, though, episode 3, love that one. We watched that and 4 yesterday.
Yeah, we talked about the final, like, fight scenes, and it was like, remember back in 2005 when Yoda versus the Emperor and Anakin versus Obi-Wan
or Grievous versus, like, Obi-Wan was, like, so cool.
These were, like, the coolest fight scenes in any movie
Insidious,
at the time.
You're like, oh my gosh.
You're like, this movie's amazing.
Dude, I do have one problem with the whole Mace Windu Darth Sidious fight.
Is it?
Well, I have a few issues, but one that always gets overlooked is he has 3 other Jedi with him.
That just gets slaughtered.
Literally one, and you guys can't see this, but I'm about to reenact this. One is literally standing there, and he just literally just stabs him basically.
Yeah, I
just
know.
And you're you're a Jedi.
It's kind of a joke in the Star Wars community now, but the book goes into detail about why that happens, and it's like. The force powers that Palpatine used actually stunned all of them, and he killed those 2 quickly. And then Kit Fitz's fighting style does not work well for dueling, but more for, like, deflecting lightsabers and stuff.
Yeah, I think I get that, like...
Right, they have a reason for how it works.
They could have had an epic fight scene right there, where at least they dueled out for a few minutes or whatever.
Right.
And then you have, like, Mace Windu, taking on at the very end and taking him out.
What I think should have happened is, we'll do a whole Star Wars episode in December.
Right.
But like my quick thoughts of like fixing that fight would be that Windu charges first. Windu gets like knocked back by the lightning or something.
And then the other ones.
The other three come in, and then you see Palpatine use a force power or lightning on them.
Right.
And then while they're stunned, it just like kills all three at once.
Yeah. See, I really wish they would have kept Kit Fisto away from that fight because I love Kit Fisto. And then when we watch Order 66, every time I get irritated.
Yeah,
we were talking about that.
Last night. And the problem is, like, the two problems is that, one, you don't care about any of these Jedi unless you watch Clone Wars. But then the problem is, if you have, you basically need to watch Clone Wars to, like, really emphasize. Does it suck that Anakin kills these kids? Yes. But some of the Jedi that die, like...
They're really strong characters.
Yeah, and we were talking about how stupid it is, how some of them die, how, like, realistically, they should have been, like... There should have been a... Here's how I would have changed it. Here's how I would have changed Order 66 to be better. I would have done it as show Anakin hunting down Jedi. Of spend a bit more time showing him dueling Jedi and then having stormtroopers kill him, or do whatever. Show how powerful he is.
One of the.
It would have been cool to see Anakin kill a few Jedi.
One of the cool things that would have been is if they split Revenge of the Sith into another movie, which that's arguable, with the whole trilogy thing. But if you ever did split that up, like right when he turns, basically, and then Order 66. He says Order 66, and that's like the end of the movie or something like that. And then like the next movie
is Anakin just full on dark,
just like it's a war in between.
Attack of the Clones should have been his downfall.
And we were talking.
Or you flip.
My fiance was like, "This is very much a Daenerys moment, of that his turn is so quick from, like everything just in that." From at least a movie standpoint.
Right.
His turn, and watching him again, I kind of agreed, and I get it, because you have to lead him to Darth Vader.
Right,
his
he
turn
has to
isn't
become Darth
really
Vader
shown that well throughout the trilogies.
Yeah, but
right, if you would have started...
got put in that situation where he had to make a choice, and once he had to choose...
Mm-hmm. Right, but what we're talking about is the jump so quickly to being like, yeah, I'm going to slaughter these children.
Right.
And all that.
Oh, you mean after he
Right, all the evil things he does.
But I mean,
just
it's
feels...
you're like, well, I done effed up. I already
I know that's kind of what I was...
kind of just basically killed
Mace
Windu.
And it's kind of implied that he can't learn those powers that Palpatine's talking about without doing evil things. So it kind of makes sense that
I mean, and even when they have the scene where they're talking in the
Opera House.
Yeah, the opera. Yeah.
But I get it, and unfortunately, it's just where Anakin's character has to end up because of the first few.
The problem is the first two movies don't do anything to help the third movie strengthen that choice.
Yeah, I feel like my dream scenario would have been get rid of Phantom Menace completely. Start with Attack of the Clones, make Maul the main villain, and then have another movie that is Anakin's downfall.
Yeah.
More so, and then have Revenge of the Sith. Revenge of the Sith can stay the same way, but have a Clone Wars movie. Have a movie during the war.
I've wanted that my whole life. And they actually focus on
show battles and stuff that
what Obi-Wan, Commander Cody. If they just were going out, just going out to just dude.
Just all the other Jedi, Plo Koon, all that
Grievous
stuff.
Just take out a bunch of men and just I don't know. It's
I think Revenge of the Sith is fine. I think you could fix Attack of the Clones. I think you could combine it to where you introduce Qui-Gon, have him die, have Obi-Wan just be his old apprentice, already skip ahead.
Yeah.
Have them just have a relationship, and then have Qui-Gon die, and have Qui-Gon turn to Obi-Wan and be like, "Hey, my training with Anakin isn't finished. He's still in his teens. Make him 15."
Yeah, roughly the same age as Attack of the Clones.
Yeah,
a little younger,
more cringy potentially than.
But I would be. I don't know. I'd be better than Kid Anakin.
Right, because then you can actually show the fact that he already is attuned to the Force and all this other stuff, and be
don't remove the midi-chlorian stuff. Get rid of all that. Pretend
have him talk about some of the feelings he has with the Force, and he's like, we should use our powers to do what we think is right, no matter what.
Yeah, have it more hint that Qui-Gon was going to leave the Order. Have it more lead into that by the end of Episode 1, Qui-Gon was going to step away from the Order, and that's why Anakin's so torn. Is because he wants to step away because he wants to be a Padme, and he's starting to develop feelings because he's a teenage boy. And then also have at the same time, he wants to be a Jedi Master. He wants to be on this Order, a council. It's whatever. There are a million videos out there on how to fix the prequels. I'm fine with them to an extent. they're what they are. George Lucas got to make whatever he wanted.
Right.
We can't change them.
And there's nothing to do now. Episode 3, I love episode 3. 1 is fine. It's not great. If you remove the stuff with Jar Jar, it's okay. But like, episode 2 is just so bad. But then episode 4. This is the other thing I want to get into about Star Wars. Is trying to explain to my fiance, to constantly remind her that this movie came out in 1977 and that they had not planned out the other episodes, because she's like, how did no one know that Darth Vader was Luke's father? Or how did they not know that Leia and Luke were related? And I kept having to be like, because they did not exist. In this movie, and even in episode 5, they did not know some of those. Like, Luke and Leia wasn't decided till episode 6.
Yeah.
Because that's why they don't say Leia's name in episode 5, because originally in George Lucas' script, they were going to introduce Luke's twin sister.
Yeah.
But they were like, we don't want to introduce another character. And so I was like, I've been trying to explain to them, like, you got to understand that, like, this is how it was. Like, I was like, going to the mindset that you have.
It's like almost a mistaken fortune for George Lucas, I think, on how everything landed.
Right.
Like, I wish it could have been done differently. But
New Hope is really hard to watch, though.
Well,
we didn't have that much issue with
after
it
watching it last night.
And maybe if I'm watching it with people, but like that first, you have to
like the first 20 minutes or so is what I said.
Fourth of the movie is so hard for me to watch for whatever
with
reason.
the droids and everything. Yeah, no, I used to agree, but last night after we watched it, it didn't feel like it was that slow.
Yeah, well, I feel like this is my thought on it. When we did that, when Force Awakens was coming out, we watched A New Hope a lot, and so like coming back to it after what had been a while, I was way more appreciative of it, way more like understanding it. I feel like the first part isn't that long, and it sets up the world really well. Of like, you get to meet all these characters, you're introduced to the good and evil.
Well, even in the beginning of Force Awakens, kind of like that, where you start to learn kind of the whole vibe, which there's a lot more interactiveness, even though it's still bland because it's out in the middle of nowhere, basically. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, but it kind of helps you get into that vibe a little bit better. I agree with the whole, world.
So I mean, like, I like New Hope. I like it a lot more, and that's what we were talking about last night.
Oh, I'm not saying I don't like it. It's just like, if you started out with somebody that never watched Star Wars and you gave them New Hope, they'd be like, what the crap?
See, I don't know. I feel like
that's the one you have to start with, though.
That's the one I wish we could have started. Like, I wish she had never seen it. I showed my sister that way, and she really. I mean, she might not.
It would also be hard to start off with Phantom Menace, though.
Yeah.
You're like, what?
The thing with New Hope is just being like, you got to remember the mindset. You got to remember the time this was made. I feel like for people who were like, well, this is hard to watch. It's a piece of like history. It's like watching anything. You just got to remember when it came out and like.
Yeah.
Like,
see, I have like sort of this loving feeling for old Hollywood. Like, I love older film. So, like, for me, when I watch an older movie that's, like, about my age or older, I'm like, I can still really appreciate this because, like, the way they would film and shoot things was, like, all practical and all... Like, computer effects weren't really a thing at that point. So, like, whenever you see something, you're like, wow, they actually built that or they made that. So, I really appreciate the older movies for that because, like... I think of like Jabba the Hutt. Jabba the Hutt's a puppet, not CGI, and I think that's really cool. And he's freaking huge. Like, he's a giant puppet that they made that weighed like 80 pounds. And I'm like, how'd you manage this? Like, but yeah, New Hope was really good. I really liked that it ends on a space battle. I wish more Star Wars movies would do that.
Well, and we talked about...
even though I know that like Force Awakens did it, Return of the Jedi did it, and Phantom Menace did it, where they had... a battle where they destroy a giant ship. I'm like, but that's Star Wars, man. Like, seeing the Death Star get blown up to me is still awesome. However, last night when we were watching it, and like Wedge like flies away because Luke's like, you can't do anything more for me back there. I'm like, Wedge, you literally could have turned around and got behind him and did the same thing Han Solo did, you piece of crap. He just leaves. He just abandons Luke to die.
The trench run has always bothered me because I feel like it's not explained well enough on why they can't have like ships hovering above the trench to
give them cover fire.
There's guns up there, and they just don't explain that in the movie, which is one of those things that Lucas just had to go back and fix.
Well, it's like, no, they could have like had more ships come in later to like be behind them so that they have a constant run of people going in.
Especially in New Hope, where I don't think that it was like truly thought out like on...
Well, I have to think back to like New Hope being one film. Like they were like, this might be the only one we get.
Yeah, that's what we talked about last night, is trying to remind her that when watching this, you don't think about other stuff.
I'm not even talking about that, but just like its own situations. Like, well, why did you do that or that? But yeah, it's Star Wars. Well,
Star Wars, you either love it or you don't.
Whatever they want, whatever they need.
Yeah,
I'm always here for them.
I'm trying to think if I've done anything else.
We played Killer Queen Black.
We did. We tried out Killer Queen Black. I almost said something else. This just came out on the Switch, Xbox and PC.
Really fun.
So it's an arcade game that you play 8 players at this arcade machine that sits on both sides. Mm-hmm. And whatever team wins gets to keep playing. Whatever team loses, just like there's a shut off.
Oh, I would play that.
But you basically play as 3 workers and a queen, and your goal is to either kill the queen 3 times,
get all the berries.
Yeah, get enough berries to fill the holes, or ride this snail to a victory run.
Flag. And we got snail victory yesterday.
We only won.
And we were like, yeah, snail victory. They suck. And then we just got destroyed every
we played for like an
game.
hour after that, and we just kept losing. See, it's best of 3. Mm-hmm. So you can play up to 5 rounds. And we'd always get like 1 or 2, and then just never the last victory. It's a lot of fun.
We got all the victories except economic, I think. We definitely got military the most.
Yeah, because that's like the easiest one. If somebody sucks as the queen, it's easy to just go kill it. It's a lot of fun for what it is. I mean, like, if you have a group of people...
The best moment yesterday was when I was the queen, and I was like, I'm going straight for their queen, and we both, like, go to attack, and I hit the button slightly before, so my attack ended, and then they killed me right away, like 2 seconds into the match. And I was like, oh.
We had a moment where I was playing as the queen, they kept hitting their, like, swords. Yeah. And all I could think of was Duel of Fates playing. And I died, and we lost. But... it's a lot of fun. For what it is, I mean, like, I enjoy it.
It's a really fun, quick game that you can play a couple rounds, like, in 5-10 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, it's not long. I also I finished Control, which I strongly recommend. My quick summary on it is if you played any game like Alan Wake or Quantum Break, and you like Remedy games, strongly recommend it. It's really interesting, really, like, neat concepts. It's kind of weird. But I won't really get into that right now. I do recommend the game if you have a PS4 or Xbox One. Please play it. Remedy deserves your time. It's really unique. Even though Zach watched me get really mad at it a lot.
Yeah.
But they fixed all the problems they had.
Oh, okay.
The map, they'll never fix, but they fixed everything else.
The map was my biggest problem.
Yeah, it's still an issue.
I was confused.
But
I was like, what PS2 looking map is this? Looked like I was looking at Metal Gear Solid 2.
Yeah, it's like... it's whatever. I won't. One day they'll update the map potentially, but
let's see.
Try and double check. I should have thought this through more before we got in here. Let me think. What do we do? Did I go anywhere? Nope. Watch a bunch of Star Wars. Oh, Marianne on Netflix. I don't know if either one of you are familiar with this.
Nope.
It's a horror show. On Netflix. That's a French horror show that. Is kind of reminds you. Did either one of you watch Haunting of Hill House?
Yes.
No. So it reminds me of that, but like kind of a dumbed down version of it.
What could a French horror show possibly be about? Is it burnt croissants?
Shut up. It kind of reminds me of It. In like the same so basically the service level premise is this girl writes horror books. Mm-hmm. She leaves town. She leaves her like hometown to go write them. Her horror books have a character named Marianne that throughout we learn is a real demon that tormented them during their like high school career. Mm-hmm. And so in honor or not for the demon to not torture them anymore, she has to keep writing about the demon so the world knows of her so that her powers grow or something like that. So like the more people that know about her, the more like power she sustains. And like it's good. The English dub sucks. Like we watched it with some friends, the first couple episodes of the dub, and it's bad. It doesn't like show it doesn't like give you the emotion. Mm-hmm. But then like the minute you switch over to the French version, like you can hear the emotion in their voice, like the quiverness. Like there's like one scene where this girl was crying and she was just like the French one had like such power, and then the American one was like it sounded like she was like, I'm just so sad. And so it's like that doesn't like it sounds so bad. Yeah. But we are on the last episode. I enjoy it. It's not anywhere near as good as Haunting of Hill House.
Yeah.
But it's, I mean, for like one to watch something spoopy in October.
Are they? They're making another season of Haunted.
Yeah, but it's not called Hill House. It's
like a.
It's an anthology series. So
that's
it's
right.
another haunting.
Yeah.
Which I think it comes out early next year.
Yeah, I haven't really heard too much about.
They had that like small teaser where it just showed the title. Yeah. But I mean, that's what Netflix does. We'll get a trailer and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, in like 2 months this comes out." So
yeah. Let's see. I watched Skyfall again, and I watched Spectre. I don't know what you guys are doing.
I forgot Zach didn't say one of the most important things, but wait.
Oh.
What?
Go ahead, keep talking though. We'll come back to this.
I'm confused.
Okay, so anyways, James Bond. Watched those two.
I love
last
Skyfall.
night.
Yeah, Skyfall is like one of my favorite action films.
I've actually never seen Spectre. A lot of people say you can skip that one.
It's not bad, but it feels like it almost Skyfall should have came after Spectre. I get that there would be issues with the plot, but
like for me, like a lot of the core issues in Skyfall is that like he's getting older and he's not as efficient as a agent.
Spectre is a direct sequel to Skyfall, which is I think its first problem.
Yeah,
because
that has a lot of problems. I wish they would have reversed it and like made Skyfall a sequel to Spectre, but. Obviously, the whole villain thing.
You could change.
You could.
Part of me is going to ask. It can't be worse than Quantum of Solace, can it? For Daniel Craig's movies.
No.
Now, I'm the wrong person to ask because I think Quantum of Solace is better than Spectre, but I think they're both not great movies.
Okay.
And I will like.
Because I didn't like Quantum of Solace that much.
I
love Casino Royale.
It would be Spectre or not Spectre, Skyfall. Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace, and Spectre are like right there.
Okay.
Like I don't think
it's literally every other film because Skyfall and Casino Royale are really close to me. I think I give it Skyfall a little bit, but I was about to mention that you're right about him, the whole aging thing a little bit. He did get shot.
Yeah.
In the middle, like the beginning of the movie, and it's him like trying
Recovering
to recover. So you got that whole vibe, and the things that they should have taken out, there's several lines where they hint that he's getting too old for this.
Yeah.
And if they would have taken that out, it would have been more of him recovering. It has a really good tie to his childhood. It has everything that you would want in that, which James Bond films, one thing that's interesting, I was thinking about this, is you don't really get that personal touch to James Bond in the other films as much as I think you did in
Daniel
Skyfall.
Craig's Bond focuses a lot more on him as a human aspect than just being a spy, I think.
Yeah, or even really like a gentleman. Like Craig's Bond kind of like, I don't know, it's not...
He's a little bit out of the trend of the other James Bonds on certain things, but
yeah.
See, and I'm kind of weird. I like oh my gosh, what was the Bond before him?
Pierce Brosnan.
Yes, I actually like him as Bond.
I don't mind
him. Some people really don't like him as Bond, but
he's not the worst Bond. There's the one guy,
the guy that had the 2 movies,
right? Tom something. Gosh, I can't remember his name.
But anyways, going back to Skyfall, I think it's my favorite. Casino Royale, I do agree that Quantum of Solace is really rough. Or it's just really dry. I think it would be the best terms.
Yeah,
the writing was kind of
a good
weird.
Word for it.
But I mean, all the James Bonds have weird writing into certain extent. Skyfall was a better overall movie.
Skyfall's great, dude.
Well, I mean, just if you looked at it by itself, kind of, you could almost make it its own. Like if no one ever watched any other James Bonds, they would just. Obviously, besides him aging or doing that.
Well, Skyfall was my first Bond movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it's a lie. When I was younger, I saw. Is it Die Another Day?
Yeah.
I saw that, but I couldn't tell you a single thing about that one. So Skyfall was the first one I watched that I remember.
Those movies, if you go back to Chris Brosnan movies, because that's when it's just like the whole Star Wars thing we were just talking about. The prequels. It is so bad when he is surfing or whatever. It's hilarious to watch it because it's just so. But they're trying to do all the CGI stuff and
James Bond has always had some goofy elements.
I do remember a car racing on ice.
Yes,
it's the only thing I remember of it.
Yeah, and they arguably that is one of the most made fun of James Bond movies. Now the writing in the old ones, there are some weird things that just don't age very well.
Sean Connery's Bond, when he gets out of his scuba diving gear, he's already wearing the tuxedo.
Yeah, just stuff like that. But it's James Bond, so you can kind of
Swagmaster 3000 has entered the chat.
So and then Spectre. I don't have a. See, I'm a huge James Bond guy too, so we grew up on James Bond. So I've seen every single James Bond multiple times now. But I did want to watch it again because I hadn't watched it. I've only watched it twice now. But I think the whole writing of like the first half of the movie almost needs to be a different movie than the second half of the movie.
Yeah, well,
it's so weird because they're like trying to the villain, the guy that's ahead of the Spectre or whatever. I don't think he's that great of a villain.
Spectre was the one that's a lot like Rogue Nation, right?
Yeah.
Mission Impossible. Everyone was like, because they came out the same year.
Yeah.
I remember watching both of them and everyone being like, it's really like surprising that Mission Impossible was able to do it so well and Spectre wasn't.
And James Bond is James Bond kind of thing. But there's two different styles and everything. But and that's the problem. James Bond style doesn't work with this whole element of...
James Bond is spy thriller, Mission Impossible is spy action.
Yeah, and the thing is with James Bond, when you have like a build-up where he's like figuring out like the overplot, you can't have too much of a deep plot in a James Bond film. And that's just the problem, I think, because he's there to go get the bad guy.
Really,
you have
all
your
James
match.
Bond needs is a suave villain to play off of Bond.
Which it sucks because Christoph Waltz was like made to play a Bond.
Exactly. He literally looks like a Bond villain, and they wasted it.
It's so bad. But isn't he coming back for No Time to Die?
Apparently.
Yeah, so I'm worried that they're going to be like, this is a sequel to Skyfall and Spectre.
And then you almost make this weird little trilogy crap kind of thing. And
every Bond film should be able to stand on its own, I feel.
You should be able to watch it, and that's just how they're made. So they're breaking that, but rewatching it, after not watching it for a while, I realized I'm like, oh, this is a little worse than I remember. Because the action scene, like when he's in Mexico or whatever, and
the one shot is pretty cool.
Yeah,
I remember the movie opening with that, and I was sitting there, and I was like, okay, this isn't as bad as I heard. It's fine. And then you get farther into it, and I was like,
what is it, Dave Bautista?
Dave Bautista.
He's like one of the worst characters.
Dude, the whole building collapses, right? Mm-hmm. And there was the guy that, like, not Batista's character, but the other guy. Yeah. He just walks out. I'm like, that's legitimately impossible. I mean, I get that James Bond has a lot of things.
Walking out of like
a
the dilapidated
whole building literally collapses, and he just walks out and he's got like a little bit of blood going down. You're like,
he was.
If this was a 1960s James Bond film, fine, I get it.
He was inspired by ye old Fast and Furious movies.
Apparently, maybe, dude, if James Bond goes into Fast and Furious style, where it just gets rambunctious, I could see that just happening.
Just ridiculous, over-the-top stunts, laugh-in-your-face physics, yeah. Drifting on the moon.
But I will say, this next James Bond has to be one of the best James Bonds there is. It has to be.
It's Bond 25, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, this is the conclusion of Daniel Craig, but... And that's the thing. You already have this weird vibe. If you watch Skyfall, anytime you get close to that, because I'm going to rewatch them again, obviously, before, you're going to have this weird vibe that Daniel Craig's about to die. Just like, because he's already had this whole, like, gap in time, and he's still trying to figure things out.
One of my other problems with Spectre is Craig doesn't want to do them. Yeah. In Spectre, you can clearly tell that Craig does not want to do this. That some of the scenes he's there for, but he plays, I feel like my biggest problem with Spectre is he plays a much more, like, aggressive Bond.
Yeah.
Of, like... It's weird.
I remember reading an article that he said he would rather slash his wrists than do another Bond
film,
and then he signed on to do 5.
Yeah,
and I was like, why would you do this?
He's had so many injuries and stuff too, and
money is what he.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, think about how much money he gets paid to play James Bond.
Yeah.
Like, my question is, who do you get to play after Daniel Craig?
Well, he's coming out with the one movie.
Craig is.
Daniel Craig, yeah.
Knives Out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He looks like he's having a blast in that movie.
Yeah, it looks like he's having fun. Which we're going to an early screening of that.
We are going to an early screening of that back in November.
Yeah, well, we're seeing it a little bit early.
And we got our tickets for it. So
early screening, Knives Out.
I'm excited, actually.
Yeah, no, I'm really too. That weekend is going to be a lot. I've got a lot.
He reminds me. So Daniel Craig, I'm going to compare him to Hugh. No, not Hugh Hefner. Gosh darn.
He's got that sex appeal.
Jackman?
Yes. With the whole Wolverine thing. I think everybody is going to associate him as James Bond.
Well, yeah,
he's
he's
a
going
lot
to be
of
Bond
issues.
forever.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's just the problem with playing
That's
Bond.
the problem. But it's the whole Wolverine thing.
Yeah.
And so I'm hoping, but see, now that he's free from Wolverine, he's like doing these other films, and he seems a lot more happy.
Well, I mean, we kind of just talked about that earlier with Iron Man and Dr. Doolittle too. Like,
yeah, I would say Hugh Jackman though, like.
That was his lifelong
yeah,
role.
He appreciated Wolverine. Where and same thing with Downey. I think they appreciated their roles, and yeah, they have more fun doing other stuff because their characters played that. Craig is not having fun playing Bond.
No.
At least like when Downey would talk about it or Jackman, they like there's a genuine passion.
Now
this character.
I will say that there are interviews with Daniel Craig where he talks about James Bond and stuff. Now there's that one interview that everybody's stuck on.
There's a few back whenever. I think a lot of it now is just being like, look, I'm this character, I'm stuck doing this, let's just finish this off, and like, I think that's just kind of the mindset.
I just can't believe after watching Spectre, I mean, like, he needed a better conclusion kind of thing, but they could have wrote that in. What would have been upsetting is if they didn't get him, and then you just have this drop off. But every other James Bond has a weird drop off thing, and like, Brosnan should have had a final movie, but they scratched him off last second. There's a whole thing about that, and he was ticked for years about it. He still is.
I'm really surprised that Craig did not just end after Spectre, that they weren't just like,
we're done.
And he defeated the organization that, blah, blah, blah.
But he had several injuries and stuff on, like, there was a
lot
of...
Spectre was like the one he had like a lot of issues on.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff going on in that. It's just...
It was a brutal filming schedule, too. Like, he was missing a lot of his family's life and everything, for what I understand. Like, he just had a son, I think, and he was like, wanted to be home.
I just know that,
He was not having a good time.
Rock doesn't get to spend any time with his family. He just stays on Hollywood sets. He just sleeps on it. And then
he just moved. Like I think he gets like a couple days off a year.
he probably just has his family travel with him at this point.
Yeah, well, he just got married a couple weeks ago, and he even left early because Kevin Hart to get into that car accident.
Yeah.
You're like, sorry. But you'll get whatever you want because you got unlimited money.
Yeah.
But stupid, you forgot something.
What did I forget?
What did we watch yesterday?
Oh, we watched My Hero Academia.
Yeah, season 4 started back. Season 4 is now out. Mm-hmm. It's a recap episode, so we won't talk about how long. I think
the parts that aren't specifically
the last like
10 minutes are really good. That journalist is a fun character, and I hope we see more of him.
Well, he's filler, so we won't see him again.
Dang it!
But I do think I thought the episode was fine. I don't really care for recap episodes, but this one got me a little emotional, just being like. Somebody being like, there is a light in the world. There's hope.
Right. We will be okay.
Yeah, and he's like, I had to come do this for myself to see that, there is another symbol of peace coming. That there isn't like...
I really liked that. I was just like, I like knowing that people are that concerned about their future, and he's just like, no, there's hope. Like, I know.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to be okay.
But, so overall, I mean, it's like a solid episode. I just want to talk about it real quick.
It's like an 8. If I had to rank it as an episode.
Like a 7. It would definitely be my least favorite episode of this entire season.
Well, yeah, it's the first one. They usually get better as it goes.
But overall, I'm so ready for Overhaul. I'm so ready for like the next episode. But I just figured we should address that real quick. Because for the next 25 weeks, we will be talking about My Hero every episode. Until season 4 is over.
Yeah, and then when Disney Plus comes out, we're going to be talking about things like Mandalorian.
Yeah, oh my gosh, we're less than a month away now.
We're at the point where every week we're going to have new shows to talk about a little bit. And I'm really excited for that.
We're going to have a lot week 1 of Disney Plus.
I know.
Because we're going to have Death Stranding to talk about.
Yeah.
We're going to have Disney Plus, Pokemon.
What's the date?
Jedi Fallen Order.
What's the date on...
12th.
November 12th.
It's a Tuesday.
So...
Yeah.
Everybody get ready.
Which is weird. I was like, why not like a Monday or a Friday? But
when people can be like, oh, we've got a whole week.
But, which is fine. I have 3 days to watch everything I need to, and then Pokemon and Jedi Fallen Order come out, so I need to get
Pokemon. Speaking of Pokemon, do we want to talk about that for a brief moment?
We don't know when that's coming out.
Okay.
We talked about whatever. We talked about gaming content. We filmed some stuff.
We're making money moves.
It could be a while before it comes out, though.
Yeah, maybe.
We need to. We'll talk about it more, but
as it gets closer to being a reality.
It'll probably be another month.
Okay, that's fair.
But so yeah. So do you want to talk about anything else you want to discuss before Zach and I go off on the El Camino talk?
I feel like we still have a lot of things to talk about, but I'm just going blank right now.
Did you watch anything else you took from the house the other day? You took Interstellar, didn't you?
Yes, I took Interstellar, and then I took why am I going Ben Stiller?
Night at the Museum.
Night at the Museum 3.
Oh yeah, I forgot you took that.
Yeah, we were talking about.
I've never watched Night at the Museum 3. I like forgot it existed.
I've always been meaning to watch it just because that's like Robin Williams' last.
Just watch the ending scene where he says goodbye.
I don't know if I can watch just that because I'll cry.
Just watch it over and over.
Yeah. He's saying goodbye to me.
I mean, he's saying goodbye to everyone he knew.
So.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything else. I watched this week. I did see something else. I'm so stupid.
What'd you see?
Go ahead. Did you have something else you want to say?
So I've been watching Shameless. I forgot about that. So I've watched Shameless through all the other seasons. So, and Netflix released it like a month ago, the 9th season.
Yeah.
I've watched 3 or 4. It's starting to like get to the point where I'm wanting to see a little bit more progression in the characters. It's been kind of this rerun of the same thing and all this, which is it's one of those things. I think the writing's gotten a little bit lazy in this last few episodes I've watched. Now it kind of things escalate throughout the season usually, so it gets worse and worse, and every episode's kind of crazy. But this is most of the main characters last season apparently, so I'm wanting to start seeing some conclusions here, but that may be like the last 2 episodes. Something crazy could happen. I have no idea. So, but anyways, Shameless is kind of one of those things that just is just an absolute crazy crap show. It's a good show, but it's just, I mean, there's just a lot going on, and they've definitely gotten off of what they used to like from what they used to be. But the cast is all grown up now, and so things are just changing, but you can definitely tell they're not in it as much as they used to be. That they are like, I don't feel like their characters are as invested. That they're invested as much in their characters, I should say. But so I'll keep you guys up to date. I should probably finish that in the next week or so.
Potentially next week, depending on when we record. We will also some of us might have watched Watchmen, the show. Starts next week. I'm really curious. But I saw Addams Family. I totally forgot about, and that's just
How was that?
It's actually good. Like, the animation kind of sucks, but I think the problem is Sony Pictures did the animation, so they did, like, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatball.
Yeah.
In that animation style, they've carried through all of their, like, main movies. Like, not Spider-Verse, because that was weird.
Yeah.
But if you, like, look at, like, the main Sony Picture, like, human animations, it's the same style over and over and over again. Yeah, I was going to do the da-na-na-na, da-na-na-na, da-na-na-na. But, like, so overall, though, I enjoyed the film. I don't ever need to watch it again. But, like, as far as, like, a kid's movie goes, like, you're wanting something spoopy to watch, and you're wanting them to just, like, enjoy it and show them the Addams Family, it's not the worst introduction. I think most of the cast does really well. It's a generic... The Addams Family has a very formulaic introduction movie where Wednesday is always wanting to be the one to go explore the world. And her family, they've gone through a lot of stuff, and they're like, we don't really want you to explore the world.
That's one of those things I could see a kid's show coming out of that. Or even actually like a live action like remake.
I don't know if I would want a live action remake, but I would be actually really cool with like a Netflix animated series.
I was kind of surprised watching it. I'm kind of like, I will not be surprised if this gets a series. However, the voice cast is so, like, there's so many famous people in it. There's, like, Snoop Dogg. And, like, just a bunch of people, like, Oscar Isaac, Charlize Theron, Chloe Grace.
Chloe Grace Moretz.
Yeah, Finn Wolfhard. Like, all of these, like, big names right now. Who are just, like, I was like, I can't imagine you guys coming back for the series. And you fit the characters so well.
Yeah.
Uncle Fester is, like, the best part of the movie. Hands down, like, every scene he was in, I laughed.
He's usually the best part of
I laughed. I won't spoil some jokes. I told some jokes to Zach that he says.
I thought they were pretty funny.
And I was like, honestly, I got a pretty good laugh for those moments. Like, the movie's a solid 6.5. Like, but I don't mean that, like, in a bad way. I mean that in, like...
Well, it's not really made for people our age.
Yeah, like I get that the other Addams Family movies exist, and they're never going to change.
Yeah.
Those movies are around. They're great. The original live-action ones are fun.
They have a very specific nostalgia.
Yeah, and they're more adultish. This one, the adult jokes are basically what Uncle Fester says, and, like, those are the moments you laugh.
That's kind of the interesting thing about this show is that they made it more kid-friendly, whereas the other one, like you were saying, is very middle. It's kind of like... most kids wouldn't really want to watch it.
Yeah, it wants to say that it's, like... It's more like a teen show, but it, like, escalates to both sides. Like, it's a
very gray kind of...
It's got like good values, and that's the thing about the movie too. Like thinking about it, the values of what it teaches are like not to judge people based on how they look.
Yeah.
You know, give people a chance,
I've
even though people have hurt you in the past.
I've always loved the relationship between Gomez and Morticia.
Yeah, I feel like that was my only problem, and I'll tell you something, but I'll get to that in a second. Is their relationship isn't really like emphasized as much,
and that's such a huge part of the Addams family.
I know, but their relationship is more with their kids.
That's
this of like Morticia dealing with Wednesday and Wednesday wanting to go out, and then there's like this trial thing that Pugsley has to go through.
Yeah,
and so it's Gomez. Gomez was the best. Gomez is the best one in the Addams family. He was the best like person who did this like trial thing. Like he did it perfectly.
Yeah.
And so there's like a lot riding on Pugsley to do it as well as Gomez does. So it's Gomez's relationship with Pugsley, trying to get him to like learn that and be like an Addams man, and then like it's Morticia dealing with Wednesday, and their relationship is there, like Morticia and Gomez, but they're so focused on their kids that you don't get to see their relationship.
Right.
But we were talking about how funny it was. The Addams family is supposed to be like the reverse of a normal American family, and it's like Gomez is worshiping Morticia, and they're just so in love, and it's like, it's the total opposite of a normal American family, of his wife loving her husband loving his wife.
On that level, yeah. Like, I just always loved their dynamic because, like, there's no secrets between them as, like, a marriage. Like, they just tell each other everything.
Yeah, which even, like, the play we saw, like, that was, like, a big thing of theirs. Like, it was killing Gomez. It wasn't more than that, Zach. It was, like, 2 years ago.
It was 2 years ago, not 3.
It was mid-2017, right?
Yeah. So 2 years ago.
Farther back. But, yeah, I mean, like, overall, I enjoyed the movie. All the voice cast is very well. If it's ever on Hulu or Netflix and you're like, I kind of want to see it, I don't say not to watch it. Or if you're, like, family's like, hey, let's go see Addams Family. Like, it's fun. It's fun enough that you will find something to enjoy in it. What is it? Is it a little long? Debatably. I mean, it's an hour and a half, but it kind of flies by, but there are a few scenes where you're like, okay, let's just get moving. But, I mean, overall, it's fine. It's a 6.5. I don't not recommend it, but at the same time, like, overall, quick impressions, no spoilers. I thought it was phenomenal. I think, here's the thing, as a movie, I don't think it's great. But that's because it's not a standalone film.
Right, it's a television movie, essentially.
By this I mean, though, like, you can't be like... this is the same way of, like, trying to judge Endgame.
Yeah.
Or, like, any, like, the movies that tie into their universes, being like, well, it doesn't really, like, tell me anything. I don't really know who these characters are, so...
You have to watch the series,
Yeah,
though.
it's an epilogue. So, like, as far as, like, an epilogue goes, I think it's perfect.
Here's what I said to somebody, I think literally yesterday. I was like, Granite Slate and Felina are Walter White's epilogue. El Camino is Jesse's.
Ozymandias is the finale of the series, and then Walter gets his story wrapped up, and some other minor characters get their stories wrapped up.
Right, but like, the whole dynamic has always been Walt and Jesse, and with the way Breaking Bad ended, like, it ends perfectly in my opinion. Did we need El Camino? No. But it is that nice, like, icing on the cake, you know, like, to where you're like, wow, now literally everything is wrapped up. Like, we have no actual questions left.
Yeah, and so, like, my quickest thoughts on it, because I don't want to ruin anything, because, like, there's no real trailers for it.
Right.
I think it's a 10. But I think that in the way of, like, I would not say the movie, like, as if you were, like, we're moving this from Breaking Bad, same way of, like...
Watching it on its own, I would say it's probably, like, an 8.
I'd argue way lower, but that's only because I'd argue, like, just as a film, it's hard to watch it without... But that's... I would remove that.
Yeah.
That's a dumb argument. It's like watching the end of a trilogy and being like, well, this doesn't really explain anything, so, like...
Yeah, like...
So, like, as a epilogue to the series, it's a 10. I think it's a masterpiece.
Yeah, it's really good. The only... I said on Facebook it was a 9.9 out of 10. And my reasoning for that was because it having been filmed so much later after the end of the series, the actors obviously look a little older and different than what they did at the end of Breaking Bad.
Yeah, because this picks up... And that is a problem.
Does it pick up right after?
It is a direct sequel to the end.
Yeah,
wow.
It's like him driving away in the car. Basically, it picks up right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't realize. I thought there was a little bit of a gap.
No,
it immediately picks up and goes, and there's no slowing down. And
you can tell that he... So here's my other thing about it, is you can tell that Vince wanted to film this right away, but
Right.
couldn't because he was already committed to doing Better Call Saul.
Right.
And so it was taking time, and so now there was time between season 4 and 5.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
And so that's why there's such a delay on season 5. I think is because they were doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to step out for like 3 minutes? I mean, Zach will do this while we talk real quick.
Bye, guys. I'll be back sometime.
Do you want me to end the podcast once we're done?
I can't really think of anything else we're going to talk about, so.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to move seats because this is unbearable. Oh,
They
man.
can kind of hear us outdoors, so we need to be careful.
Yeah.
So quick, the only really spoiler I want to talk about, the 2 moments is, the moment with him and Walt.
Yeah.
Was really good, really powerful.
That cameo is great.
When they're just talking at the diner,
Mm-hmm.
and Walt's coughing, and Jesse's genuinely caring for him. He's like,
Yeah.
"Are you okay?" And Walt's like, "Yeah, I'm fine." Which I get Walt being kind of douchey, but
Right. I would assume that takes place before Jane.
it takes place when they're on their way back from
The 4-day
cooking for
cook.
the 4-day cook.
Yeah.
And then at the end of it, when he's like, what's great about your life is that you get to do something special early on.
Right. You're still so young.
Yeah.
Don't let this ruin your life, essentially.
That, and then of course the ending where it's him and Jane talking, and it's just
Yeah.
so
Talking about the universe and everything.
he's like, I like that mentality of that. It kind of just goes where the universe takes you, and she's like, that's not at all what I said. He's like, but I like it.
He was like, yeah, but right on.
Yeah.
All the cameos
Oh my gosh,
I think
so
are really good. I really like how in the show we don't have any understanding of why Jesse would want to go to Alaska.
Yeah, and it
then
informs us.
Mike tells him, I would go to Alaska.
Yeah, the last
like-
frontier.
I'm like, I love that. And then, of course, all the flashbacks with Todd made me hate him even more as a villain.
Oh my gosh, that was so aggravating.
Yeah. I was like, this is really good because, sure, Todd does a lot of terrible things in the main show, but, seeing some of these flashbacks that directly involve Jesse and Todd, it's it makes that kill feel so much even more earned when he strangles him in the finale. And, oh, you know what? The actor that passed away.
Oh frick.
That shocked me so much because we literally watched it the day it came out, and then 8 hours later,
he
was
passed
gone.
away that morning.
Yeah, he passed away that morning, but it didn't break until way later in the day, and I was like, that's insane.
Robert Forster.
Right, he plays Ed, which is the vacuum repair shop guy who helps Jesse disappear.
Yeah.
He was really good in the movie too.
Yeah, but I mean, this is what we're talking about.
All the actors are great.
Yeah, everyone's there for... Todd is the second longest character on screen.
Yeah, and then I would say he's the third, the disappearing guy.
Yeah. But, all of them, everyone else plays, such a minimal role. The movie honestly could have been longer, for all I cared.
Yeah.
But, so overall, like I said, I just want to talk about those scenes really quick. Also, I genuinely like the movie a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely recommend you watch it. If you're a fan of Breaking Bad,
if you haven't watched it yet,
it's shot beautifully,
mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
It's very well done. It's very well made. This is clearly a passion project that, was 6 years in development, I think.
So ending on this, Uncharted is actually 10 years old today, Uncharted 2.
It is?
Mm-hmm. That's been going around Twitter.
I thought Uncharted 2 came out in November.
I think Uncharted 3 came out in November.
I was wondering about that because I kept telling myself I'm going to go buy the trilogy so I can play Uncharted 2 on PS4 and stream it. So now I have an idea of what I'm doing tonight. I have to do it now. I've already said it.
But anyway, so that's ending Nothing Coherent, episode 26.
I think it's 26.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I mean, you're not watching. You're watching with your ears. But remember to follow us on SoundCloud, Spotify, YouTube, eventually. iHeartRadio, Apple Podcast, Google Music, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram at Coherent Nothing or Nothing Coherent. You'll find us. It's the same logo on everything. We're trying to be active on our Twitter, or not Twitter, on Facebook, which I want to start doing. I need to do it earlier in the week. I posted thing on like leave your thoughts on El Camino, and we'll read them on here or talk about them.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to do that, we'll try it. If it doesn't get any response, I don't really care enough. But thank you all for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Next week will probably be the last consistent episode we have, and then it's going to be really...
It's going to be a little wonky.
Yeah.
Because you'll be...
Getting married, and Ryan will be finalizing on his house.
Right.
So
I'll probably just be sitting in a room by myself talking.
We might stress that Zach streams more. Or streams on the Nothing Coherent account.
Yeah, we'll try to figure something out about that for here in the near future.
We'll figure it out. Anyway, want to hit stop. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you guys next time.